Hey guys, welcome to a new video of CSAT with Jasin. So in this video, we'll be looking into simple and compound interest. So when it comes to this topic, this is not a very much important topic for CSAT because UPSC hasn't been asking much questions from this topic. Okay, but anyways, we'll be looking into the concepts of simple and compound interest. Then we'll also be looking into some simple methods by you can find this simple and compound interest actually very easily. Okay, so if you like this video, please do subscribe, share and support. So let us start with the video. So first let us look into the concept of simple and compound interest. So it is actually very important that you understand the concept really well. So for understanding the concept, we'll take an example. Let us assume that we deposited an amount of rupees 1000 in a bank and we deposited it for 2 years. Okay. And the rate of interest that the bank offered was 10%. So here 1000 is known as the principal amount, that is the amount that we deposit in the bank, and the number of years for that you deposited was 2 years, which is equal to n. We denote it as n, and the rate of interest we denote it as r. So this, let us take this example. Now assume that you you deposited the same amount in simple interest as well as in compound interest. So let us see what is the difference between simple interest and compound interest. Okay, so in the first year you have your deposited amount is 1000. So in the first year you will be getting an interest of 10% because our rate of interest is 10%, right? So 10% of 1000 is 100. So you got an interest of 100, your principal amount was 1000. So your amount at the end of the first year, it will become 1100. So if you are depositing a principal amount of 1000 in simple interest, then at the end of first year it is becoming 1100. And for compound interest it is actually the same for the first year. So in first year, even if you put the amount in simple interest, even if you put the amount in compound interest, it will be the same. Okay, so for compound interest also, you deposited 1000 rupees, the interest will be 10% of 1000, which is 100. So the amount is becoming 1100 at the end of first year, right? Now when it comes to second year, the difference starts. Okay, so for simple interest, your interest is always calculated based on the principal amount. So in the second year, again the 10%, there is a 10% of interest, right, in the second year as well. So in the second year for simple interest, it will be calculated based on the principal amount. So 10% of principal amount, which is 1000, is equal to 100 again. So in simple interest, in all the years you will be getting the same amount of interest. So here again you will be getting an amount of 100 as interest in the end in second year. So after the end of second year, you had an amount of 1100, then plus 100. So you will be getting 1200 at the end of second year. But when it comes to compound interest, the interest will be calculated based on the final amount of the first year. So final amount of the first year was 1100. Okay. So the 10% of 1100 is 110. So your amount will become 1100 plus 110, it is going to become 1210. So at the end of 2 years, the simple interest is 1200. The amount become 1200 after 2 years. If you are putting in compound interest, the amount is becoming 1210 after 2 years. So let us see what happens after 3 years as well. Okay, so again in simple interest, every year the interest will be the same. So after the end of 3 years also, you are getting 100 interest more. So your amount will become 1300. When it comes to compound interest, you will be calculating interest based on the final amount of the second year, which is 1210. So 1210 into 10% is equal to 121. So if you add this with 1210, you will get 1331. So your amount is becoming 1331. So if you are depositing the same amount of money at the same interest rate for the same number of years, you will be getting an amount more amount you will get if you if you deposit the amount in compound interest. So this is the concept of simple interest and compound interest. So you need to understand this concept very well before moving on to further in this class. Okay. So let us now look deeper into simple interest. So you need to study a formula for simple interest, which is equal to interest is equal to PNR by 100. I already told you what P is, right? P is the principal amount, N is the number of years in which you are going to deposit the amount, and R is the rate of interest. Now let us take an example for you to understand this. Let us take this example. Arun deposited rupees 1000 in a bank. So 1000 is the principal amount, right? It on a simple interest of 10%. So 10% is our rate of interest. So find the amount that he received after 2 years. So 2 years is the n, which is the number of years. So I is equal to, interest is equal to, P is 1000. So 1000 into n. N is 2 years. So 2 into R means 10. So 10 divided by 100. So 2 zeros will get cancelled. You will get 200. So the interest is 200. After 2 years, you will be getting a total interest of 200. So the question is, what is the amount? So amount after 2 years will be the amount initially, which is the P. P is 1000. Principal is 1000. You will be getting an interest of 200. So total amount will be 1200 now. So here you need to understand that in the simple interest formula, I is equal to PNR by 100, you are calculating interest. But when it comes to compound interest, the formula will be, the formula for the compound interest will be for the amount after n number of years. So that you need to understand. We'll be discussing more on that when we will look into the compound interest. So now you need to understand that simple interest is equal to PNR by 100. Now we will do another problem for you to understand this equation, this formula better. So let us take this example. How much year? So we need to find out n. What is n? Will it take for an amount of rupees? So this is P to yield rupees 225. That means this is interest, simple interest that received, and the rate is 5%. So let us find out. Okay. So here I is equal to PNR by 100. Here I is 225. So 225 is equal to P is 1500. 1500 into n we need to find out. N into R is 5 divided by 100. So this will get cancelled. Now 15 and 5 I am taking to the other side. Then it will become n is equal to 225 divided by 15 into 5. So this will become 45 by 15, which is equal to 3. So after 3 years, the amount 1500 will yield an amount of rupees 225 if you are putting at a simple interest of 5%. So this is how you need to use this formula. Okay. So normally simple interest and compound interest, the interest will be calculated annually. Okay. But there are questions in which the concept of half yearly interest will come. So let us take an example here. If you see this example, Arun deposited rupees 1000, which is our principal amount, in a bank on a simple interest of 10% per annum. So 10% is the rate of interest. Find the amount that he receives after 1.5 years. Okay. If the interest is calculated half yearly. Okay. Now here the given interest rate is in annum. Per annum means it's the amount that you are going to receive. 10% per annum means in 1 year your interest rate is 10%. But here the interest is calculated half yearly. So here what you need to do is that you need to, in this type of question, you need to take R as, here 10% is per annum and it is calculated half yearly. So half yearly means 2 times in 1 year. So you need to take R as 10 by 2 is equal to 5 because you are calculating the interest every half year. Okay. So you need to take R as 5%. Okay. Now when it comes to N, normally we say that n is the number of years. So here number of years is 1.5. So you will take n as 1.5. If you take n as 1.5, that is wrong. Because n is actually not number of years. N is actually the number of times you calculate interest. Okay. Normally, if you are calculating the interest per annum, then what happens is that number of years will be equal to the number of times you calculate the interest. But in this case, the interest is calculated half yearly. That means in 1.5 years, you will calculate the interest 1.5 into 2 times. Because 1.5 years means in 1 year 2 times, then half year again 1 more time. That means total 3 times you are calculating the interest. So you need to take interest, so you need to take n as 3. Then you can use the formula like P is equal to, I is equal to PNR by 100. So here you can put P as 1000, okay, N as 3 and R as 5, then you will get the interest for 1.5 years. So this is the way you need to calculate if you are getting a question based on half yearly interest. Similarly, you can base a question like if the interest is calculated quarterly. So in the same way you need to do that. Quarterly means 1/4 of a year. That means if the question is like the interest is calculated quarterly, that means in 1 year you are going to calculate the interest 4 times. Okay, so in that way you need to do the question. Now let us look into compound interest. So compound interest, first you need to by heart a formula which is amount is equal to, earlier in simple interest we the formula was interest is equal to, okay, here in compound interest the formula is amount is equal to principal into p into 1 plus rate, that is r by 100 whole raised to n. N is the number of years. Okay, so this is the formula. Now let us take an example here. Arun deposited rupees 1000, so 1000 is principal amount p in a bank on a compound interest of 10% per annum, so the rate of interest is 10. Find the amount that he receives after 2 years. Okay, let's assume that 2 years, so n is 2. So here the amount is equal to p is 1000, so 1000 into 1 plus 10 by 100 whole raised to 2. So here it will become, this will get cancelled, it will become 1 by 10. So 1000 into 1 plus 1 by 10 means if you cross multiply 10 plus 1 is 11, so it will become 11 by 10 whole square. That means it is equal to 1000 into 11 by 10 into 11 by 10. Okay, so these zeros will get cancelled. 11 into 11 is 121, so you will get 1210. Here you are directly getting the amount. So your amount after 2 years is 1210. Now if you are asked to find out the interest, what you need to do is that you need to subtract the principal from the amount. So 1210 minus 1000 is equal to 210. So your interest, the compound interest that you receive after 2 years is 210. So in this way you need to do the problems on compound interest. Now when you look into this equation, actually if you are getting a complex question, like if you are asked to find out the amount after 3 or 4 years, or if you are asked to find out if the rate of interest is actually 12.5%, if it's decimal or something, actually it's very difficult for you to use this formula because this formula contains whole raised to and all. So actually it's actually very difficult to do the calculation if the question is a little bit complex. Okay, so in that cases you can use easier methods to find out the compound interest. So we will be looking into two of those methods. Okay, so you can use any of those methods I am going to tell you. So then you can use that method to find out the compound interest. Okay, because that is much easier when it compared to this formula. So we'll look into that easy tricks now. Okay, so now let us look into the first easier method to calculate compound interest. So this is known as the tree method. So now let us take an example for you to understand it better. So Arun deposited rupees 1000 in a bank on a compound interest of 10% per annum. Find the following: the amount that he receives after 2 years. So normally what you will do, you will take that a is equal to p into 1 plus r by 100 whole raised to n, that formula, and you will do and find the amount. But there is a simpler method. Okay, that's what the tree method that we are going to study. Now there is an extra question I have added here. So this is the, if you see the second one, we need to find the extra amount earned by him by deposited in compound interest rather than simple interest. I already told you that while discussing the concept of compound interest and simple interest, that if you put the same amount of money for the same number of years at the same interest rate in simple interest and compound interest, you will get more interest if you are putting it in the compound interest, right? So here the question has asked that you put the same amount of money in compound interest, if you put the same amount of money in simple interest as well, what is the extra money that you will receive if you put the money in the compound interest? So that also we need to find out. So if you are going to get a question like this, if you use this tree method or the next method I am going to teach you, then directly you can find out this question as well. So I will tell you how you need to do this. So here the amount is 1000, that is the principal amount is 1000. Just write 1000 like this. Here the interest is 10% per annum. So 10% means 10 by 100, right? So that is 1 by 10. So 10% is equal to 1 by 10. You need to take the fractional form. Okay, now what you need to do here, it is 2 years. You need to find out the amount after 2 years. So you need to draw 2 arrows like this. Okay, just draw 2 arrows like this. Now our rate is 1 by 10. So take 1 by 10. Now what you need to do is that multiply this 1000 with 1 by 10. You will get 100, right? So write 100 here and 100 here. Now in the second step, again multiply this 100 with 1 by 10 and write it here. So 100 into 1 by 10 is 10. So I am writing this 10 here. Now you have got two lines here. If you add this line, that is 100 plus 100, you are going to get 200. Write this 200 here. This line you will get 10. Write this 10 here. If you add 210, you are going to get 200 here. If you are adding 210, you will get 200 210. Okay, so just write it here. Now in this question, this 200 will be the simple interest. That means if you are putting that 1000 rupees for 2 years as simple interest, you will get an interest of 200. Now if you are putting that 1000 rupees per 10% per annum for 2 years in compound interest, you will be getting this 210. So this is the compound interest. And this 10 that you get in the middle will be the difference. That is, you will get 10 rupees more if you are putting in compound interest rather than in simple interest. So by using this tree method, we got simple interest, compound interest, and the difference between simple interest and compound interest very easily, right? So this is the tree method. Now I will again explain to you this tree method just by changing this 3 years. Earlier the question was what is the amount after 2 years. Now the question is what is the amount of after 3 years. So now let us see how we can do this. Okay, so first you write 1000. Now what you need to do, 10% means 1 by 10, right? So here it is 3 years, so you need to draw 3 arrows. Okay, so we need to multiply 1000 with 1 by 10. You will get 100, 100 and 100. Right, now what you need to do in the second step, you need to multiply this 100 with 1 by 10 and write it here. Now you need to multiply this 100 with 1 by 10 and you need to write it here. Okay, you also need to multiply this 100 with 1 by 10 and you need to write it here. So you will get 10 again here. Okay, now in the third step, what you need to do is that you need to multiply this 10 with 1 by 10 and write it here. That means 1 by 10 into 10 is 1. So you need to write like this. So this is a little bit confusing. So if you are getting 2 years, you can use the tree method. If you are getting 3 or more years, I would suggest you to use the next method. I'll be going to teach the next method soon. But anyway, I'm going to tell you how to do this type of questions in tree method as well. Okay, so you got these things. Now what you need to do, if you add the first line, you are going to get 300. If you add all other lines, you will get 10 plus 10 plus 10, 30. 30 plus 1 is 31. So 300 plus 31 is 331. So this 300 will be the simple interest. If you put 1000 rupees in a bank account in simple interest at 10% per annum for 3 years, you will get simple interest 300. Same thing if you put in compound interest, you will get compound interest as 331 and 31 will be the difference between compound interest and simple interest. So this is how you need to use the tree method. Okay. So now let us look into the second method for you to find out compound interest very easily. So that is using Pascal's triangle. Okay, so before moving on to this method, you need to know what Pascal's triangle is. So it is actually a arrangement of numbers, actually, this Pascal's triangle. So it is like this. First you write 1, then you write 1 and 1, then you write 1 here, then the sum of 1 plus 1 is 2, you write it here, then you write again 1 here. Now in the third step, you need to write 1 here, then 1 plus 2 is 3, you need to write 3 here, then 2 plus 1 is again 3, you need to write 3 here, then 1 will come here, then again 1 is coming here, 1 plus 3 is 4 will come here, 3 plus 3 is 6, it will come here, 3 plus 1 is 4, it will come here, then 1 will come. So this is known as the Pascal's triangle. So by using this Pascal's triangle, we will be calculating the compound interest, and this is actually a very easy method. So better learn this method than the tree method, because if in tree method, if the number of years is 3 or 4, then it's going to get a little bit complicated. Not complicated, but you will get little confused. So it's better for you to use this method. I will suggest you to use this method. Okay. So here what you need to understand is that you just remove this one. First one you don't need. So take this Pascal's triangle. This first line corresponds to 1 year. Okay, if you are putting the money for 1 year, then this first line corresponds to that. second line corresponds to 2 years of interest, third line corresponds to 3 year, fourth line corresponds to 4 year, and if you want 5 year, then you just need to write the next layer of the Pascal's triangle. So this is how you need to do. So I am taking an example here. So Arun deposited rupees 6,400. So the principal amount is here is 6,400 in a bank on a compound interest of 12.5% per annum. So if you are using the normal method here, that is the formula here, that is A is equal to P into 1 plus R by 100 all raised to n. If you are going to use that method here, then here the problem is that rate is given as decimal. So it will be, the equation is going to get complicated, the calculation is going to get complicated. So it's better for you to study this method and use that method here. So here what you need to do is that, again, same as before, same as the tree method, here principal is 6,400, the rate is 12.5. So you need to write this 12.5 in fractional form. Okay, so 12.5 is actually 12.5 by 100. So that is, you will get 125 by 1000. So that is equal to 1 by 8. Okay, so the R is 1 by 8. Now what you need to do here, the amount we need to calculate after 2 years. So you need to take the layer of Pascal's triangle which is corresponding to 2 years. So this is the layer. 1 to 1 is the layer that is corresponding to 2 year, right? So that is, just write then 1 to 1 here. Okay, then you write principal amount here on the bottom of 1. Just write the principal amount. Now what you need to do here, rate is 1 by 8, just multiply 1 by 8 with 6,400. You will get 800. Write that here. Now again multiply 800 with 1 by 8, you are going to get 100. Write it here. Now what you need to do, just multiply these things. You will get 1 into 6,400, 6,400. 2 into 800, you will get 1,600. 1 into 100, you are going to get 100. So you write it like this. Now here in the first cell, you will be getting principal. Okay, principal amount is 6,400. In the second cell, you are going to get the simple interest. So if you put an amount of 6,400 at an interest of 12.5% for 2 years in simple interest, you will get an interest of 1,600. Now the next line will be the sum of all the next cells will be the difference between simple interest and compound interest. So here the compound interest will be 1,600 plus 100, it's going to be 1,700. So in this way, using Pascal's triangle also, we can find out the simple interest, we can find out the compound interest, and we can find out the difference between the compound interest and simple interest. Now I'll give you another example here. So this is about 3 year. So we have the Pascal's triangle right like this, 1 1 1 2 1 1 3 3 1 and so on. So 1 3 3 1 corresponds to third year. So here we need to find out 3 years after 3 years. So you need to write 1 3 3 1. Okay. So here the principal is 1,000. So you need to write 1,000 here. Here interest is 10%. That means you need to write it as 1 by 10. So 1,000 into 1 by 10 is 100. 100 into 1 by 10 is 10. 10 into 1 by 10 is 1. Just write it like this. Then you need to multiply. Okay. 1 into 1,000 is 1,000. 3 into 100 is 300. 3 into 10 is 30. And 1 into 1 is 1. Okay. So here in the first cell, you are going to get the principal amount, which is 1,000. In the second cell, you are going to get the simple interest. So here simple interest is equal to 300. Now if you add all the other cells, 30 plus 1 is 31. 31 will be the difference. Okay, 31 will be the difference. So compound interest will be 300 plus 31, which will be 331. So in this way, using Pascal's triangle method, you are calculating the compound interest and simple interest very easily actually. Okay, so this is how you need to use this method. So now let us look into some questions, actually different types of questions. Actually, as I already told you that UPSC hasn't asked questions from this topic. So I am giving you some different kinds of questions here, some practice questions here. So we will look into that. Now if you see this question, just let us read this question first. A certain amount of money yields rupees 122 more in 3 years if invested in compound interest rather than in simple interest at a rate of 5% per annum. Then find the amount of money. So we need to find out the principal amount here. So here the question says that there is a principal amount, and if you are investing that principal amount for 3 years at 5% per annum in compound interest, you are going to get an amount of 122 more than you invest in simple interest. as I already given you in the concept that I already told you in the concept that compound interest will be more than the simple interest. Here it says that it is 122 more. And when I told you about the Pascal's method, we already know how to calculate the difference between compound interest and simple interest using the Pascal's method, Pascal's triangle method, right? But here the thing is that the difference is given. The difference between compound interest and simple interest is given. From that difference, you need to find out the principal amount. Here the question has given the difference between compound interest and simple interest at 3 years. So compound interest at 3 years minus simple interest at 3 years is equal to 122. So the difference is given and the rate is given as 5%. Now here you can use the formulas like you can use the formula for compound interest, you can use the formula for simple interest, substitute and do the equations and everything, then you can calculate it. But it's going to take a lot of time. So I will teach you a very simple method to solve this kind of problems using the Pascal's triangle method. So here what you need to do is that the rate is here 5%. First write the rate into the fractional form, that is 5 by 100, which is equal to 1 by 20. Now you need to assume a principal amount first. Because for doing the questions on Pascal's triangle method, you need a principal amount first, right? So we'll assume a principal amount first. And assuming the principal amount is actually very important. How to assume this principal amount? So how you need to assume this principal amount is that take this denominator, that is 20. Now 20 raised to, take the number of years is 3. So 20 raised to 3 is 8,000. So assume the principal is equal to 8,000. So we are assuming the principal amount is 8,000. Now we will do with the Pascal's triangle method. So here the number of years is 3. So we need to take the layer of Pascal's triangle corresponding to 3 year. That is 1, 3, 3, 1. Okay. Now you need to write principal amount here 8,000. 8,000 into 1 by 20 is 400. 400 into 1 by 20 is 20. 20 into 1 by 20 is 1. Now you need to multiply. 1 into 1000 is 8,000. 3 into 400 is 1200. Right. 3 into 20 is 60. And 1 into 1 is 1. Now here 8,000 is the principal amount, right? 1200 will be the simple interest and the difference will be 60 plus 1, 61. So what you got? So we assumed a principal amount of 8,000. So if the principal amount was 8,000, you will get a difference of 61. But our difference is 122. So if the difference is 122, what is the principal amount? So let us assume this is x. Just cross multiply now. Okay, that means 61 into x is equal to 8,000 into 122. So x is equal to 8,000 into 122 divided by 61. So you will get 16,000. So here option C, 60,000 is the right answer. So here if you use this Pascal triangle method to solve this kind of question, it's actually very easy. Only thing is that you need to first assume the principal amount. So it's easier for you to assume the principal amount as 20 raised to 3 here because the calculations is going to get easier. That's why we are assuming 20 raised to 3 as the principal amount. So in that way, if you do the question, it will be very easy for you to answer this question. Okay. So let us look into a different question. Actually, this is a very conceptual question. This is actually very deep into the concept. But if you know the concept, if I will tell you what you need to do here, if you understand that very well, then it's very easy to solve this question. Okay. So let's read the question. Rohit earns an interest of rupees 1,656 for the third year and rupees 1,1440 for the second year on the same sum. Okay. Here, this is the interest rate, interest that he received. Okay. So he receives for the third year rupees 1,656 as the interest. It's not principal amount. It is the interest. In the second year, he got an interest of 1,440. Then find the rate of interest. We need to find R. If it is lended compound interest. So it's lended compound interest. Then we need to find the rate. So here first you need to understand a concept. So I will teach you the concept with the help of an example. So let us assume that I am putting an amount of 1,000 rupees at compound interest at 10% per annum. Okay. So in the first year, I will get an interest of 10% of 1,000, which is 100. Then my amount at the end of the first year, it will become 1,100. Right. So at the starting of next year, I will be having 1100 in my bank account, and in the second year, I will be getting an interest of 10% of 1100. So that is 110. Then my amount will become 1210. Then in the third year, what will happen is that I will get an interest of 10% of 1210, which is 121, and my amount will become 1210 plus 121, it will become 1331. So this is the concept of compound interest, right? Now I am going to give you a little bit of concept here. So here 121 is the interest in the third year. So 121 is the interest in the third year. So 121 is actually 10% of 1210. Okay, 10% of 1210, because 10% of 1210 is 121. We know that. Now I am splitting this 1210 and I am writing it as 1100 plus 110. Actually 1210 is 1100 plus 110, right? Because in the second year you are getting an interest of 110, and if you add that 110 into with the amount that you have in the bank, that is 1100, you are getting 1210 at the end of second year, right? So I am writing like this. Now I can write it as 10% of 1100 plus 10% of 110. Okay, I am just splitting and writing it like this. Actually, you don't need to understand all these things. I am telling you all these things because you need to understand how this came. Okay, so I am trying to teach you the concept. Actually, you don't need all these things for solving the question. Okay, so I am writing like this. Actually, 10% of 1100 is 110. It is the interest in the second year, right? So 10% of 1100 is 110. So we got 121 is equal to 110 plus 10% of 110. So I am taking this 110 here. It will become 121 minus 110 is equal to 10% of 110. So 121, what is 121? It is the interest in the third year. What is 110? It is the interest in the second year. Okay. So here what we got? Interest in the third year minus interest in the second year is equal to 10% means it's the rate here. That is rate into interest in the second year. So this you need to understand. So for you to understand this concept, I told you all these examples. Okay. So what you need to understand, that interest in the third year is minus interest in the second year is equal to rate into interest in the second year. Actually, you can use this for all the years. That means interest in the fourth year minus interest in the third year will be is equal to rate into interest in the third year. So this is applicable for any year. So with using this formula or using this concept, you can actually answer this question very easily. So let us solve this question by using this concept or using this formula. Okay. So here interest after 3 years, which interest in third year is 1656. So 1656 minus interest second year is 1440. 1440 is equal to rate. We need to find out the rate into interest in the second year, that is 1440. So here if you subtract this one, you will get 216. So you will get 216 is equal to R into 1440. Okay. So R is equal to 216 divided by 1440. So if you want to find out the rate in percentage, actually you need to multiply by 100. Okay. So you will get a decimal here. You need to multiply by 100 in order to get the rate. So this will be, you will get 15%. So the answer is 15%. So if you do this in this way, actually it's very easy. So you need to understand that concept here. Okay. So let us solve one more question, and after solving this question, I will give you one more concept as well, which is going to help you in solving these kind of problems. Okay. So here a sum of money gets doubled in 10 years at simple interest, then find the rate of interest. Okay. Here, if you deposit an amount of money P in a bank, it gets doubled. Doubled means the amount became 2P now, right? It got doubled. P got doubled. It became 2P. So here interest will be equal to final amount 2P minus initial amount P, which is equal to P. So the interest will be equal to the principal amount. Now you know the equation for simple interest as I is equal to PNR by 100. So here for I you substitute P because I is equal to P. So P will get cancelled, you will get NR is equal to 100. So here N is 10. So R will be is equal to 100 by 10, which is equal to 10. So rate of interest will be 10. So actually you can solve this very easily. I will show you how. I'm just drawing a table here. So you can have questions like money getting doubled or money getting tripled. And the same question can be in simple interest or compound interest. That is, a sum of money gets doubled at simple interest, or a sum of money get doubled at compound interest, or a sum of money get tripled at compound interest, or sum of money get tripled at simple interest. So in these kind of questions can be asked. So doubled, you need to understand that if it's in simple interest, NR will be equal to 100. You don't need to remember actually this. You can use this formula easily and then substitute just like what we have done in this question. You can do like that. But if you want to remember, or if you can remember, you can just remember that if a money get doubled at simple interest, then NR will be equal to 100. N into R will be equal to 100. If a money get tripled at simple interest, NR will be equal to 200. So it's always 1 minus. Tripled means 3 times, right? But NR will be equal to 200. If it's quadrupled, NR will be equal to 300. If the amount of money gets 5 times, NR will be equal to 400. In that way it goes. Okay. And for compound interest, if a money get doubled in compound interest, NR will be equal to 72. Actually, this is an approximate value. You can use this value. You can use this formula to solve questions, but this is not exact value. So NR will be equal to approximately will be equal to 72. Okay. NR is approximately equal to 72. And if an amount of money get tripled at compound interest, NR will be approximately equal to 140. Okay, so in this way, if you by heart these things, then you can solve very easily. If you get a question like this, just put NR equal to and you can solve it. But you need to check whether the question is in simple interest or compound interest. So here the question was at simple interest and it was some amount of money getting doubled. So NR is equal to 100. So you know N is 10, then you will directly get R is equal to 10%. So in this way you can solve this kind of questions very easily. So guys, thank you so much. This was all about simple and compound interest. I hope you understand the concept very well. So I'll be coming with a new video very soon. So if you like this video, please do subscribe, share and support. Your subscription is actually very important because it boosts me to do more and more videos. So for those who are watching this video without subscribing, please do subscribe. So thank you so much guys. Thank you.